in, everybody, to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. I am Mrs. Best. Let's also welcome in James from the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel. Hello,
Hey. Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me, Mrs. Best. Like, comment, and subscribe, y'all. It takes a lot for us to get up here and give a few hours of our day. So we would appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel, like the video, get my girl monetized so we can make an extra little coin. Never hurt
I would
nobody.
appreciate it. I would appreciate it. You guys also see the link in the description of this video. There's a link to James's channel as well as also Best Shayna _MCD and Kiwan JTV, who we will be live with tomorrow morning to go over love during lockup. Hot Mess Express, Hot Ghetto Mess. Honestly, a lot of my shows are that way, but it's okay. It's all right. If that's what y'all want, that's what y'all want. But let's get into the Valley Persian style. This episode is titled Dennis the Menace. This is episode 4 of season 1. I'm bored. It's 4 seasons in, I'm bored. And this used to happen with Shaws of Sunset for me. When I would watch it, I'd be like, oh, this is interesting. And then if you watch long enough, I'm like, okay, I'm bored. But we pretty much see Gigi flipping out on Dennis. I don't like how he moves. She's going crazy and he's like, have some more wine. It's like the last thing you want to do to a person that's like going ape shit is offer them alcohol or anything, really. But he apologizes to Gigi for sleeping with her friend, and she had to work to get that apology out of him. If I have to work to get you to apologize to me, you can keep it. You can keep it. If you don't know that you've done wrong, then I just prefer not to deal with you. I don't know. That's just how I am. But they end up moving forward, and it's for the sake of the fact that they have a sex toy company together. Would you like to add anything to this meet, James?
Nope. Move on.
Okay. Yeah. James was saying, y'all, just so you know, he may not have too many opinions. He was bored by the episode as well. I was bored. The episode was really long. You know, Gigi needs to grow up to a certain extent. You also making potheads look bad, sis. Because I'll tell you this, if I was smoking an ounce every 2 days, nothing would piss me off.
Not only that, it's like I see why she's in the positions that she in. She makes stupid fucking decisions. And it's like you just hooped and hollered and all this bullshit, all for you to just say, okay, we're good now. I don't understand her. I just don't. And I'm trying, y'all, I'm really trying to understand her, Mercedes, whatever the fuck her name is. MJ, thank you. I'm trying to understand Sky and Bombshot. I'm trying to understand Tannen and her husband. I don't understand them. I don't understand any of them.
I think, and the thing is, so James recaps the Valley with us, the regular Valley, the original series, and he was not a Vanderpump Rules fan like I was. He'll tell you when it was on TV, battled about whether I should cover Vanderpump or not. And I'm glad I didn't because it's gone. Because a lot of the shows I've covered is gone. Summer House, Martha's Vineyard, Vanderpump, all of that. But it just seems like you were able to understand the Valley cast a little better. Yes. And they're not perfect either. There are people that had broken relationships. There are people that struggled. I think the difference is people struggled, but then made a move, divorced, moved out. Like they did stuff. I feel like with this cast, a lot of them are in situations. And I mean, we could see that MJ and them are going to break up, but it's like outside of that, I'm bored. But
yeah, well, to add to your point to that as well, the thing about the Valley, the other Valley show is that they were all transparent about what their situations were. And they kind of gave it to us all at once. And then we had to see the shit kind of play out versus these group of couples and singles alike are not giving us anything. And we have to dissect even further to see where we are. And then when we get to the next episode, it's not what we thought it was. So it's like, okay, I cannot go through these kind of loops and hoops and not know where I'm going. Like at least the other Valley, we knew where we were going and we knew where it was. Like it was very logical. This is not making sense to me at all.
It's true. It's true. Now, another part of not making sense is I've actually been having a hard time, you guys, taking notes for how I should cover this show. So I apologize if it's choppy. And we're always open to constructive criticism and feedback as well. The next thing we kind of see is Tannen and Greg. She wants to do a cash trip to Palm Springs. Nothing really comes out of that scene. Honestly, Greg and Tana seem to have like, they don't seem like husband and wife. They seem like really good friends. And he kind of acts like her assistant in some ways, because I know he ain't paying a bill, but okay. I do, for some reason, though, I like Tannen individually and I like Greg. So I do hope that they'll work it out, but I know they won't, just on how long they've been doing what they're doing. Next thing we see, because this show was everywhere, was Sky tripping out. So Sky is the least likable person on this cast. I think she's disconnected. She gives me someone that is racist, who will discriminate. She gives me somebody who does not see the good in people who are different from her. She gives me somebody who judges people who do not make as much as her. Just everything about her gives judgmental, down to how she interacts with her husband. Her husband seemed chill, but she just seems snooty, uppity, and kind of like a bitch. And I worry about how her kids will come out if she's primarily raising them. Sorry, not sorry. But she's flipping out. She wants a bigger house. She says she never wanted to live in the Valley. So for those who aren't from California, the Valley in Northern and Southern California is known to be a place where people go so that they can afford to buy a house, so they can afford to rent a house, so they can afford to have the American dream in California, where it's extremely expensive. So in the area, a lot of people in the San Francisco Bay Area have moved to Modesto, Manteca, Stockton, Sacramento, Lathrop. A lot of people have moved to the Central Valley. We call it the Valley up here. In LA, when they talk about the Valley, a lot of people move to either the San Fernando Valley or the San Bernardino Valley. And they end up in cities that are nice, but much cheaper than living in LA. Just as up here, people are avoiding living in San Jose, Oakland, and San Francisco because it's so expensive. So I do understand. The reason I'm explaining that is because it seems like she is bothered by the fact that the Valley is known to be where you go to save $1. And you could tell this guy wants to be the girl that doesn't need to save $1. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, Sky, listen to Reza. She's trying to buy a house. This is not the time to buy a house in California. At the time that this was filmed, I promise you it was not. She has an interest rate on her current home of under 4%. She wants to buy a new home. It'll be impossible to get an interest rate that good. And she'll have to be paying her mortgage and bills in the house that she's currently in addition to the house that she'll purchase, which will cost more. Pretty much the closer you get to the city in LA, unless you're in Beverly Hills or Bel Air, you're going to get less space and spend more money.
Yep.
So listen to Reza and take your time. Do you have anything to add to Sky demanding a house that she can't afford?
You said the magic words that she can't afford, but I don't know if she sold any of that jewelry. I don't know what any of her other businesses are. So I don't know what Mom Shop does, but I just know that based on what we saw, you might want to say, first of all, who in California still has a 4% interest rate? That was the first thing that drew my mind. Like, you don't even hear about that shit. That means y'all had that house for some years. And I'm just annoyed with them. Like, I really am. So, we'll just keep them in prayer. Hopefully she finds what she's looking for.
Okay, y'all, my bad. My husband totally distracted me. When I say that man distracted me, he distracted me. He needs a life to grow up. But after we see Sky and Bombshot and Reza, and I love that Reza, you know what I do love about Persian culture that I've gotten from this show? I love that they keep it real. They're honest with each other. I love that Reza totally explained to not just Sky, but to Gigi as well. You got to save money. You got to downsize to make some money. And I think that's an important lesson, because a lot of times on television, we see people just trying to keep up with the Joneses, but we don't see people talk about the real. It's hard to keep up with the lifestyle. The more you have, the more it costs to keep up with it. And unless you're in like a stable field of work, it could get even more difficult. So listen to Reza, everybody. Please listen to Uncle Reza when it comes to this, child. Save your money.
With Reza, and he's being logical. Like, that makes sense. Like, you don't need a bigger house. It ain't the four of y'all. So you don't need a bigger house. You don't need all of this luxury and buying $1 million home and then investing $1 million to renovate it. That sounds stupid when you could just pay this house off and build the equity, because trust me, you're going to get the equity if you continue to pay it off and then do something. But first of all, Bomb Shot is old. He shouldn't have to uproot his life like that. To me, this is giving you want more, but you don't want to do the work to get to the more.
Preach. I don't like women like this. If your husband is providing you a great life and is able to provide you with a house in the most expensive state, one of the most expensive states in the country, be more appreciative. If you want to have more, then be willing to work. Example, my husband was taking care of me. I don't know why the man spoils my black ass, but he does. But one of the main reasons I'm working full time, because I don't have to, I really don't, is only so that I can pay for the type of vacations that I like to go on. And I swear to God, that's the only reason. James will tell you, my checks go to vacations, nails, stupid shit. But
I mean, that's not stupid. I mean,
but still, I mean, it's not. But I'm just saying, like, it versus like bills and things like that. So I feel like your husband can give you a soft life, but recognize the efforts that he's making to take care of you. And if you can do something to make it easier, then do something. But I know they have kids. It may be hard for her, but be realistic. And she's also uprooting her kids. Like, let them stay in the same school. You leave the valley, your kids have to change schools because that traffic ain't no joke. Ain't nobody driving.
Oh, ain't nobody driving out there like that.
And LA do not have BART like we have up here. There is no rapid transportation. Okay, the metro sucks. So you won't get far. Adam he's talking to Natasha. I actually like them as a couple a lot. At first I was unsure, but now I'm starting to like them a little more as a couple. He's talking to Natasha about seeing a medium because he says he thinks about his first wife that passed on from cancer often. And though I like them, I do think that there's a lot of love with them. You can tell he's unhealed in his grief with his ex-wife or the passed on wife. I think he's still in pain. We learn a little bit more throughout the episode, not to skip ahead, but he did mention later in the episode that it wasn't just that his wife died from cancer. It was unexpected. So it wasn't like when people get to that point in cancer where doctors talk to the loved ones and the patient and say, start making your arrangements. She was still in the fight and just collapsed at home and died. So I can understand that there's probably some trauma there because he wasn't seeing it coming. But it does seem like sometimes he tries to equate his happiness, the credit for that, to his passed on wife, which can take away from his current wife. Yes. I think that's the only struggle that this couple has, because Natasha kind of hints toward that. And I was happy that she did talk about that a little bit. But I do think she's handling it appropriately. And I think that he is too, because I can't put too much on him because he's grieving. But at the very least, he does always acknowledge his wife's feelings when he talks about the wife that's deceased. But yeah, did you have anything you wanted to add to their scene?
No, and like we said, because we've talked about this before, that's a hard thing to compartmentalize, especially when you have moved on and have remarried and had children, and that's still something that is lingering. And I said this before, I feel like there was a lot of him that really did not process that before getting into this marriage. So I'm glad he actually confirmed that, because you could clearly see it. So that's why I was like, okay, now I have to give it to his wife. Her name is Vanessa, right? What is her name? Natasha. Mm-hmm. I have to give it to Natasha. She's a lot stronger than a lot of women would be in that situation, because she's coming from a place of patience and coming from a place of understanding, but then also trying to be realistic as well. So I can't really fault her for that, because that is a hard situation to be in. To know that your husband never really harbored the feelings of the loss, and then the moving past his first wife. That's a hard feeling.
That's tough. But I think if you really love him, you'll be patient. And I think that's where she gets that strength. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where a lot of people, sometimes you figure out if you're really with the right person based on when bad things happen in life. It's unfortunate, but sometimes You find out who's really there for you when shit goes down.
Yes.
You really, really do. Oh God, I tried to hold
Not
it.
you, young girl. That's how you know this show was really boring.
I'm so sleepy, you guys. It was like a long week. I'm doing my best. Gigi, Natasha, and MJ meet up. They discuss Tommy. Let me tell y'all, stop pressuring this lady about Tommy. If a friend gets to a point where her spouse, who used to be around, stop coming around, let the relationship dissolve. That's usually a sign of a relationship ending. All of my friends that have gone through breakups, I stopped seeing their spouses like that. Or if I would ask about their spouses, they either have not seen their spouse or they were very short and didn't want to say much. And I mean all of my friends, from my gay friends to my straight friends to my married friends who shouldn't be dating. I'm trying to tell you, because I got a little bit of everything. I'm charismatic. I like people. I don't judge. Maybe I need to, but you know, I always feel like the worst thing someone can do, like with James's breakup, I knew that things were probably going to head in that direction. And there were moments I push him, like, you need to end this shit. And then there were other moments where it's like I'd go days sometimes without asking you about it because I feel like I didn't want to add pressure. When someone's going through something, if you can sense the dysfunction, trust and believe the person sitting and experiencing the dysfunction can feel it also. The last thing you need to do is add to their like stress. And I feel like the way they ask about Tommy, it's like, and this isn't just a normal situation. It's like there was a restraining order, court documents, police involved. Stop asking MJ about it. But MJ, stop talking.
I was gonna say, as much as I want to put the blame on the others, I have to put blame on her too, because she is also mentioning how much she wants him to be present. So, and I can only imagine if she's telling us, the viewers, in her confessionals and just in casual conversation, that she is venting to Reza and Gigi about it as well, about how much she really wants him to come around, but because of what's going on, he's not going to do it. So, and I feel her, I do, because there's nothing worse than you actually being in a relationship or being married, being around a whole bunch of other married people, but you can't bring your person around. I get how much that sucks. I do.
Yeah. No, that, you know, that sucks. I can understand that. When I got with my husband, I was young. We were in high school, but none of my friends, like, at that time, for whatever reason, didn't like him because we met on the internet, and this was before meeting on the internet was a thing. So no one liked him. No one trusted him. Everyone thought he was a serial killer, axe murderer. And I was always like feeling like a third wheel, even though I had a man. Now they all close and love him. But, you know, I've been there. So I do empathize with MJ, but you got to look to your man.
Yeah.
You got to look to your man, because my man, there's people he will not like, do not stand. There's people, James, you done heard him talk about some mutual friends we have from high school.
Oh, of course.
But he will still show up in front of her and be polite for me. So it's one of those things where I'm looking at MJ like, this is why they are divorced in real time today. Because if Tommy really cared about her, the sun got me looking like a alien out of Avatar. But if
you got
Tommy
stripes,
right? If Tommy cared about her, I'm gonna put the curtain down after the live. If Tommy cared about her, then he would show up. He would show up.
I would think, yeah, I agree with that. I feel like you could put your shit aside and show up for them or show up for MJ, because to me, I get what happened. Like, I do see his point of view. But at the end of the day, if your wife has moved on and has made amends with her friends, including Reza, then you can step forward and, you know, be cordial with them. So you ain't got to like them. Like, you ain't got to like, luckily, none of my exes, she only met one of them. So I only can say my ex that Mrs. Best didn't know, he actually really loved her. I think he loved her a lot more sometimes than he would like me, because they were kind of the same person.
Oh, Lord.
They were kind of, you know, they kind of bantered off of each other a lot because they equally didn't give a fuck about what was going on and, you know, all this kind of shit. And not to say Mrs. Best doesn't care, because she does, but the banter of don't give a fuck exists way more than do give a fuck. I'm just saying.
I cannot. That's crazy. I used to sense that too. Because sometimes James would just look. Just look. I'd be like, the fuck? Oh, Lord.
Yes, like the things that he would say when he was around you, and should I be like, I had to, we was in the car, I had to turn around and look at you. I'm like, wait, which one of y'all just said that?
I behave on the internet. It's quite a skip.
Yes, you do.
Hi, Shandy. She said, I'm back and I'm full. What you eat? Where my plate? Ship it. You can freeze dry it. Come on. Overnight it. Oh, snap. What up to twin husband? Hey, brother Joe. That man is on my. He's saying hi to you in the background. I didn't know he could hear me. He says hello, Shandy. Oh Lord, Tommy seemed like a terrible person. Tommy, He does.
I'm sorry.
He definitely does. Tommy gets on my nerves. I fixed my glare, y'all. Lord.
About that, Kewan, what you doing? Do you want to join the live with us to go over these Potomac looks?
Ooh. Oh yeah, we about to go over Potomac after this
live.
Yeah,
Kewan, what you doing?
I am almost done with this live.
Yeah, what are you doing at 7:15 your time? Is you cooking or something? Girl, come on the live with us. I'm gonna email you the link real quick. Because we need some help.
I could not. Y'all, let me see what's next. So Sky comments negatively about the house that Tannen and Greg got. Sky is just a hater. I'm tired of Sky. I don't even want to get into it.
They was fighting in the car. I was like, if y'all don't get y'all asses down somewhere.
That's what you get for not riding with your husband, Tannen. That's exactly what you get. But they get to the house. Sky pulls Gigi aside to talk about the weed. And Sky, in her mind, she's like, she's going to do too much. And Gigi was just like, oh, yeah. All right. I'm sorry. And I was like, thank you. Because most potheads, sometimes they do stuff that's crazy. But for the most part, there is an etiquette to being a pothead. Coming from a pothead, y'all. I smoke every day. I'm high right now. I'm trying to tell you. So I don't smoke in people's houses. I make sure I don't smell of smoke. You got to keep smell good sanitizer, all types of stuff on you. You can't just cover it up with smoke. You got to use soap and water. Okay. And you should ask when you're smoking if you're around people. Even if I'm around people and I see cigarette smokers, I will walk a little extra further. So I was happy to see that Gigi did not flip out on her, because at the end of the day, you can't get mad at someone for asking you not to do something in their home, you know? And I love that this moment happened as Gigi asked to smoke somewhere else other than the backyard because kids were there. So I'm like, okay, Gigi has some type of coof, but very, very smart Sky talking to a pothead while they are high. It's very hard for her to flip out while she's actively smoking. So good for you. I don't have much to add to their sit down. Did you have anything to add to their little talk?
I thought it was ridiculous, actually.
It's like, girl, you already let it happen. You should have said
let it
happen.
It's old now. Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm glad Gigi took it on the chin and was like, okay, yeah, you came to me. It is what it is. My bad. Good girl. Yeah, be good. I would have said, look, you should have said some shit when I did it. I was outside. I was on your property. And if that's what you're the problem with, why you didn't say it then? I forgot I did that. Because Linquaz kept Gigi looked like she forgot she did that. She did.
She did. But you know what? Sky was looking for her to act a fool, and I feel like Gigi knew that. So I'm glad that she did what she did. Kiwa says, I'm going to go live, and I'm going to drop down 7:50 because I have a live at 8. Send me the link. Okie dokie.
All right, y'all. That's at least for the reunion look. She going to be there for us. We appreciate you, Kiwa. I just sent it to you.
Shetty says, I was excited for this show to come on, and I have not watched one of these episodes. It's okay. Can you wait until after the event and you not around the kids to smoke? I mean, that's also a good point, too.
It is. But the thing about it is we moved on from this event.
As long as she stepped to the side and is not smoking around the kids, I'm genuinely not tripping. But I'm glad she didn't give Sky the time of day, because Sky was looking for a problem.
For a moment. Yeah, she really was. That's why I say the show.
Lord help us. But Reza and MJ, they have a talk about Tommy, because Reza is the one that really had an issue with Tommy. Tommy came on his property, destroyed his plants. if any of my friends' spouses destroy my property and they don't want me to call the police, you gonna let me handle your spouse the way I want to handle your spouse. Because Tommy needed his ass whooped for that. And Tommy from New York, and he know if he was on the East Coast, he would have got his ass whooped for that.
Yeah.
Sir, New Yorkers don't play that. He know better. He knows better. But seems like everybody's open to, moving on. Seems like everyone's grown a lot and is willing to talk to Tommy for the sake of MJ. Seems like they genuinely love her enough to put up with him, which I love, because that's all a person needs. And that probably helped her to see that she needs to divorce him. Honestly, when your friends are all supportive and are not in the way, you can see clearer what you're really dealing with, in my opinion. But, all I'm going to say, Reza uplifted her. I was happy he did that. Now we do see MJ call Tommy after this talk, and Tommy refuses to even discuss Reza. He mad. And the funny thing about it is Tommy is mad at himself because things would not have gone as far as they went if he did not destroy someone's property. Just because you had a problem with Reza did not do anything to you to warrant that. So now you're mad because you did something to this man that took it too far and he retaliated. Grow the fuck up, Tommy. That's why you single today. How did you feel about all of that and then the call with Tommy?
For me, once again, I said this to say that he had no reason. I understand being mad for people not showing up for your spouse. I totally get that. I'm totally that, but I'm not this mad where I'm gonna go and fuck up your property and then get mad at you because you decided to take the legal route. And then I'm doing a show now with you, but I don't want to show. I wouldn't. You have no room, sir. I'm sorry. None of that shit. So we glad that MJ is still here breathing and looking healthy. We are happy about that. But at the same time, if she was able to move on, understand that she has 30 years of history with this person, you should be able to be cordial with that person because that's respect for your wife.
When they showed how long they knew each other,
yes,
I actually connected more with them because I was like, that's me and James.
Mm-hmm.
Quite literally.
We met in high school, so yeah.
Yeah, and I'm looking at that and I'm like, I know that their friendship has to matter to Reza. I'm sure he probably came out later on dealing with her. Just a lot of stuff that makes a friendship, I think, more important. So I'm happy that the friends are supportive, and sometimes people got to go. Tommy is not it. He's not that guy. Mm-hmm. Shani said, I always thought that Tommy was pissed off with Reza because he screamed out about all the abortions that MJ had. That was one of the main reasons that he was pissed off with him. But he then went and destroyed Reza's property, vandalized his home, and then Reza took out a restraining order because Tommy was like harassing him and going crazy. So it's like, while Tommy has a right to be upset,
you don't have the right to vandalize.
You don't have the right to vandalize, and you don't have to interact with Reza like that. You just don't. It's odd.
You could literally be in the same room. He's not a threat to you. You shouldn't be a threat to him. And y'all should be able to coexist. Y'all don't even have to say anything to each other. There is 30 people in this room right now.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't have to interact.
They sure don't. They sure don't. The last thing we see on this episode, y'all, can't believe we under 30 minutes. The group goes to dinner and Dennis pops up. Dennis the Menace, aka Gigi's business partner, ex-husband, best friend, whatever the fuck.
Whatever she want to call it. Yeah,
that's too much.
Girl, if you don't cut this shit out, really, like this is you're just doing way too much. Ain't nobody gonna remember all this.
He pops up. Gigi's friends don't like Dennis for understandable reasons.
Yeah.
I love how they love each other as friends. They were still kind of respectful even when addressing him. They were blindsided. After they grill him, which is what Gigi wanted, then she lets the group know that she invited him, and the group was, of course, upset. And MJ is asking Dennis, like, you hurt her, it was cruel. And he was like, well, where the fuck were y'all when she hurt me? I said...
That's it. Oh, wow. Okay.
You're not their friend. She is. That'd be like James asking Mr. Best where he was for James or some shit.
Right.
That make no sense. That's my friend.
That would be like my ex coming to Amina talking about why weren't you here for me? Where it was like, nobody knows you.
See, I was purposely careful because I did feel like I could get real cool with that man.
Yes, like
So
he's. Let me. Don't get me
I'd be like,
wrong.
you want my IG? You want my number?
Right.
And you notice this the one time I didn't exchange nothing.
Yes,
Because I said,
because here's the thing. My ex is very lovable. He really is. That was one of the hardest parts about walking away from that relationship, is that I did love his sense of lovability. Now, did I get it all the time? No. But when he was that person that was lovable, it was something I had never experienced before with anybody I had ever been with. So for me, that was definitely one of those times where I'm just like, if she did want his information, fine. I mean, I don't have no beef with him, so it's fine.
I don't.
But I respect her for not doing that, and I respect the other people on this show for not doing that, because first of all, Dennis is a fucked up person, first off. Let's not act like Dennis is some saint.
He's also highly unattractive. You can do better, Gigi. He's highly unattractive. He is. He gives me Jax Taylor. Like, he was probably something in his prime, but it's nothing now. He just does. Right. But MJ asked Dennis what marriage means to him. And he's like, what? He's like, well, what does marriage mean to you if you've been engaged 4 times in a year? That's real. If you've been like, I hear of people being engaged lots of times. That's not good. That's actually a red flag. But if it's spaced out, you know, some people just struggle to say no. But when you're engaged 4 times in 1 year, that's not normal. That's not normal.
That's crazy.
That's problematic. That's insane. And I think MJ was right. How much can you value my friend who wants marriage if you don't value marriage enough that you'll marry whoever? But Gigi ends up hollering and screaming at Dennis at Adam's birthday dinner in the restaurant that him and Reza got married in. We have to remember this was Adam's birthday. And Adam, I love that Adam walked out with Gigi, though. Like, Adam is that perfect gay. I said what I said. He just is. But he walked out with Gigi. Gigi's like, I need to smoke. I'm pissed. Baby, it's not working.
She trying to chase that original high. She trying to chase that original. That's what a lot of people do when they're on this kind of situation, is that you're trying to chase the original high.
She probably
that started it all.
Too much. I don't know what she's doing. Let me see. Shetty said, is that the same guy she married for like 5 minutes, and when they were getting a divorce, he was trying to take like half the money or something? That's the other one.
That's the other husband. That was the first husband.
She married this guy at the end of Shaws of Sunset. So this was fairly recent, but they were only married for a week. The other one she was married to for a month. Yeah. And he tried to get off. He tried to get everything. If I was her, like if my parents were worth that much money, I just wouldn't get married.
I wouldn't.
We have a domestic partnership and 20 prenups and post-ups, okay?
Not 20 prenups.
We would. Every time I thought of something I didn't cover, I'd add on to it. Okay?
You add on to it.
I would add on to it. I'd have a document saying they were all valid. Honor everything. Don't play with me.
So after the prenup, she get the post-up. She's like, look, I forgot about this shit.
I tell my husband all the time, if I ever end up rich or something, I want a post-up. You're not going to take me to the cleaners. No. Absolutely not. If you look at me going nowhere, but still, my mama ain't raised no fool. I'm just saying. But that's it for the Valley. That's all I got. Did you want to add anything?
No, as we said, we doing the best we can, y'all, with what we got.
Doing the best I can with what I got, like Mariah said.
Let me change this live time.
Yes, I didn't know if you knew my lives would be quick because not much happened. The live that we'll take our time on will be tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, and 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. We will be live tomorrow covering Love During Lockup with Kiwan JTV and Watch Your Mouth Reviews. So I will see you guys then. Shout out to our replay gang. I do hope that y'all like the video, and we'll see you tomorrow. Adios.
Adios. Thank you.